Well, our farm's now just over 1,000 hectares, and of that there's 790 hectares effective in grass that we're farming. We've got another 100 hectares in pine trees, forestry, that's been planted in gorse-covered gullies and things like that, and then the rest of it, just over 100 hectares, in regenerating bush and retired areas and that kind of thing. We're running approximately 9,000 stock units, but that goes up and down with the seasons, of course, and we're running about 4,500 to 4,700 ewes, breeding ewes, and then the lambs, 1,300 ewe lambs, and then we try and carry some lambs through and finish them in the winter. But a lot of the lambs are sold off their mothers, and then we have breeding cows, about 500 cattle all told. Of that, about 200 are breeding cows, and then there are 30 odd breeding heifers, and the rest are finishing cattle, which we finish on a cell system. Well, the farm that we've done most of it on, which we call Furslands, we bought it, the first part of it, Yvonne bought in 1988, and we've bought more in 1998, and it was very badly infested with gorse and run down. So what we've done is that we've broken it in with four-wheel drive tractors, Parco Partnership, Rex Thomas's contracting outfit have done that, broken it in, and then planted it into grass, and then anywhere we couldn't get that was too steep, we've fenced it off and planted pine trees in the gullies, production forestry.
If there's been a nice area of bush, we've left that there to come away.
That's
too,
right.
though.
Yeah.
The dams, John's very kindly planted off, fenced off 3 for me, and I'm getting, where trees, I get given a lot of trees, flaxes, toys, and it's just a matter of every year going and planting again and planting again. And we're slowly winning. You can actually see some of the trees are coming away now, and it's really, really good.
With the waterways, we're trying as much as possible to fence them off. We've fenced off, one of our boundaries is Dry River, and we've fenced off and retired the bulk of that. And we've planted some natives, but we find also that the natives come back naturally in among it if you just fence it off. But then other waterways we're planting and fencing and planting poplars and willows and toys and other bits and pieces in there too. In conjunction with all the cropping and regrassing and that, of course, we soil test before we do it. And we've used recommendations from the fertiliser reps as to what we should put on. And so we basically fertilise in response to what we think we need with fertiliser testing and that sort of thing. And also grazing management. Most of our year was taken with rotational grazing, and we're very conscious of trying to protect the soil and keep a decent amount of pasture cover there. We've done some pole planting. It's being such a dry area, it's a difficult area to get poles established in. But we've found one or two things, one in particular, if we spray around them once they're planted and release them, there's a higher success rate. We've got to try and get our stock through the summers. The summers here are our big problem, not the winters. We normally make as much silage as we can. We hopefully try and make about 500 to 700 tonnes a year, but we also buy barley, and we feed barley to the ewes as well, and barley and silage. That's the main strategy for getting stock through a drought. When I took over farming, we had 200 hectares, and now we've got 1,000. And most of that expansion's been financed by selling small areas of ground suitable for grapes. In total, we've sold 4 8-hectare blocks off ground, and it was all ground that was very poor producing as far as grass goes, although it grew good lucerne. And now there are 2 or 3 well-known wineries or vineyards on that, and that allowed us to expand to buy all the rest of the land. So it's been a pretty good move, really. We've got another generation. Rebecca, our daughter, has come back onto the farm. She's away on a honeymoon at the moment, so she can't be here with us today, but she's taking over and gradually working away into more of the day-to-day running of the farm.
Rebecca went on an outward bound course, which she absolutely loved. I think she discovered she could do a lot more than she thought she could. She found things out about herself, and of course she made a heap of mates again. She won it as the top ag student for the Wairarapa, and was sponsored to go on it, which was brilliant.
We've always had one person working here, as well as ourselves, and Andrew Stewart worked here for a total of 21 years. And Andrew was working down the road. He came and worked here for 4 or 5 years and then left and got married and milked cows, and then about 8 years later he came back and he was here for another 17 years. He's only just left in June of last year. Oh, we'd like to think we treat them like family, but it works two ways.
It does get easier now. Our children, now we're not doing sports runs and hostel runs and all the other things that are involved with rearing a family. I think we're both enjoying our time being able to do the things we do now.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it's our time now.
Well, sort of my main off-farm activity, I guess, is my dog trialling. I've been dog trialling since I was 11, so I suppose it's longer than I'd like to admit to how far I've been doing it. I've sort of got over the years more involved in the administration side too, and I've been judging, and now I'm on a New Zealand councillor. I'm actually the New Zealand Vice President of the New Zealand Dog Trial Association at the moment.
Yes, I'm involved with the poultry and pigeon world. I am the secretary for the Wairarapa Poultry and Pigeon Club, and I'm the secretary for the New Zealand Rosecomb and Seabright Club. I also help with the Martinborough Rose Show, and we just get involved with community things where you can.
We'd just like to wind down and do more of what we want to do, but we just enjoy living here so much, and the environment. We can't really see ourselves ever moving into a town or something like that, I don't think.